Hello, welcome to Carol's Books and Storytime. I have a little description for you of one of my travels when I and a friend went to stay with some other friends in a yurt on the inner Mongolian grasslands. And I've called it the Mongolian Boot. The coach pulled up in front of a mud brick adobe type Mongolian farmhouse, way out on the Mongolian grasslands. The vicious-looking Tibetan sheepdog with muff ears barked furiously and ran to and fro on the end of his clanking steel chain. Chickens scattered out of the way, and the ponies galloped to the end of the dry stone-walled field. As we clambered down the steep steps of the bus, we were greeted in English by a girl dressed in jeans and sweatshirt, and on her feet were beautifully embroidered Mongolian boots with turned-up toes. Surrounding the farmhouse were 12 yurts. Each was circular and white, with blue designs not dissimilar to the Celtic designs found in Wales, Ireland and Scotland, painted on the sides of the white canvas. Each stood on its own hollow concrete plinths, the purpose of which was to build a fire underneath in the winter in order to keep the place warm and comfortable. The booted girl showed us to our yurts where we would spend the night. We ducked our heads through the narrow doorway, and before us were 12 sleeping mattresses with warm quilts stacked against the sides of the yurt. But there were 16 of us, not 12. The agent had overbooked, and we were crowded out. 4 single, middle-aged, older British ladies, all teachers at various universities in China, and 6 frisky, young European couples. The yurt was overcrowded. There wasn't enough bedding, and we had to beg for more. We 4 oldies were on a big adventure. Kate, big and blonde, blue-eyed with a strong Scottish accent. Alison, 40-ish, with long, mousy brown hair and a Bristol accent. Angela, dark-haired, diminutive and quiet, with a great sense of dry humour. And me, 60-plus, white hair dyed blonde and desperately trying to act and appear younger than I really was. The teachers tend to be quite bossy. That seems embodied in and embedded in their genes. Pretty soon, we had the whole yurt organised and space for the 4 of us to cosy up together and keep warm. The rest of the occupants of the said yurt were couples and were quite happy to cosy up together. "We'll put Kate in the middle," I joked, "and then she can keep us all warm with her electric hot flushes." Kate glared at me and threw a cushion at my head. Night came, and after an afternoon of activities like horse riding, walking, sitting watching the sun go down, tinging the evening sky with red, old deep orange, streaked through with the most beautiful violet, we never saw a sunset or sunrises where we lived in the bend in the Yellow River. The air was far too full of pollution and thick with dust there, and grit from the Gobi Desert. Yet here we could see the sunset and marvel at the inky blackness as night dripped her velvet skirts over the Mongolian grasslands. The stars came out one by one, and the constellations were easy to identify. The moon rose and trod her silvery path across the golden grasslands, turning the golden grass into silver. Our Mongolian hosts lit a campfire and wheeled out the baijiu, a lethal drink which warmed the cockles of your heart and soon released a feeling of warmth against the cold night air. The Polish people who were in the party drank like fish and soon were singing bawdy Polish songs. We, the older 4 British ladies, crawled off to bed. Like a little trickle, the other ladies followed, leaving the men drinking and singing by the campfire. At about 1 a.m, Kate woke up and shook me awake and announced in her broad Scottish accent, "I need the loo." There were no loos out on the vast grasslands. The nearest one could get to privacy was a sparse tussock of golden marram grass. "I'll come with you," offered Alison, fixing her miner's head torch in place over her woolly hat. Out we 3 stumbled into the cold, starry night. We glanced over to where the raucous singing was still issuing from the throats of Polish men. The campfire was still a ruddy glow, throwing the figures around it into silhouette. We stumbled over the tussocks. "I can't see a thing," exclaimed Kate, squatting down to do her business behind a tussock of grass. "Can't you?" said Alison, swinging her head round to look at Kate. Kate was spotlighted for all to see. "Alison, turn that thing off!" hissed Kate. Alison's head swung round this time, focusing on a distant yak quietly cropping the grass. Then her head turned slowly towards Kate again. "Alison, for heaven's sake, give me that blasted torch, or turn that blank thing off!" Her last words reached a crescendo. Business over, we stumbled back to the yurt, laughing, and collapsed onto our sleeping mats. Angela slept on, oblivious to the drama that had just taken place. I hope you enjoyed that. It was fun, really good fun. It's great to travel, you know. You learn so much. And things that you can't learn at school, you learn firsthand. Bye.